What's good? Plethora of manga here. Today, we're putting the spotlight on something that doesn't get talked about enough. Female characters in shonen. Let's be real. Most shonen, the guys take center stage, but every now and then, a female character comes along who steals the show, impacts the story, and earns her place among the greats. That's why I'm giving you my top five female shonen characters and why they deserve way more love. Here's my criteria: impact on the story. Did they change the direction of the narrative? Character development. How much did they grow over the course of the series? Memorability. Some characters just stay with you long after their arc is done. This isn't just about strength, it's about who truly defined their series. These are my personal picks, but I already know this is going to spark some debates in the comments. So let's get into it. At the number 5 spot, I have it tied with Maki Zenin from Jujutsu Kaisen and Yamada Asaemon Sagiri from Hell's Paradise. I had to tie these two because their journeys mirror each other. Maki Zenin showed us what heavenly restriction really means in Juju. That's what I call Jujutsu Kaisen. Beef about it in the comments. Born into a sexist clan that looked down on her, not only for being a woman, but also for her lack of curse energy. Maki fought against every limitation placed on her to the point where she she left her clan and left her sister behind. The turning point after Mai's death, her sister, she cut ties with curse energy completely, stepping into Toji level strength and wiping out the Zenin clan. From her brutal fight against Naoya, where she's understanding his technique and then she literally one-shots the dude. It was amazing. To her training with the sumo wrestler in his simple domain against vengeful cursed spirit Naoya. And then finally reaching Toji's level. It's amazing. Like, Maki has so many good fights, from the fight with her dad to both Naoya fights. And then she's recognized. Oh, actually, that was spoiler territory. So let me dial it back a bit. Spoiler for the anime, but I'm not going to get into it because that's spoilers. Now, for Sagiri, on the other hand, is the emotional backbone of Hell's Paradise. Without her, offering Gabi Maru the chance to reunite with his wife, the story wouldn't even exist. Like Maki, Sagiri was told her role was too much for a woman. But through compassion and strength, she becomes a true leader and co-protagonist. Both women embody the fight against sexist systems. That's why they are at this spot. Honestly, I feel like I could have given more love to Sagiri, but I really implore people to check out Hell's Paradise. It was getting some hate, but Hell's Paradise is amazing. At the number 4 spot, we have Kikoru Shinomiya from Kaiju number 8. Hikaru is a perfect example of a prodigy who earns every ounce of her power. She's not a Nepo baby. Her insane stats and skill come from her relentless hard work. Her relationship with Kafka is a cornerstone of Kaiju number 8. She recognizes his worth long before others do, even stepping aside at the officer inauguration, stepping beside herself, I should say, or she's beside herself because Kafka isn't at the inauguration to get his recognition that he deserves. But her biggest growth comes after her father's death and assimilation with Kaiju number 9, where she declares she won't mourn until the monster is destroyed in the face of Captain Narumi. Kikoru balances vulnerability with strength, and honestly, she's way more impactful to the story than Ichikawa as a secondary lead. Even though I still love Ichikawa, I feel like Hikaru has a bigger role in the story. And at the number 3 spot, we have Noelle Silva from Black Clover. Noelle started off as a classic stuffed cup royalty type, but her arc quickly smashed that trope. Shunned by her own siblings for her lack of control over her powerful magic, Noelle fought to prove herself. One of the most emotional moments in Black Clover is during the elf arc, when her siblings, especially Noelle, finally acknowledge her strength and apologize to her. Noelle's growth isn't tied to romance alone. She levels up alongside Asta and Yuno, carving out her own path as a warrior. From rejected royal to unstoppable mage, Noelle's journey is one of the best written female arcs in modern shonen. And that's a fact. At the number 2 spot, we got Rukia Kuchiki from Bleach. If you think about it, you wouldn't even have Bleach without Rukia. She gave Ichigo his powers, and her capture led to the legendary Soul Society arc. Her journey is filled with resilience, from facing execution to reclaiming her strength to overcoming her trauma with Cayenne's death. Seeing her finally rise as a vice captain and unleashing her Bunkai during the Quinty invasion arc, that payoff was what Bleach fans were waiting for years. Rukia is never reduced to fan service. She's a grounded, complex character whose development runs parallel to Ichigo's. She's a pillar in Bleach. And now, for the number 1 stunner, for the number 1 spot, we got Best Girl of One Piece, Nico Robin. And no, Robin had to be my number 1. She was introduced as Crocodile's right hand, aside from Mr. One, seemingly a villain. But after Luffy saves her in Alabasta, she finds a home on the Going Merry. Still, her past haunts her. Aokiji warns her. Aokiji warns the Straw Hats she'll bring calamity, and in Water 7, she sacrifices herself for the crew. And it sets up one of the greatest arcs in shonen history. I know I say that a lot, but again, in S Lobby, Water 7 is one of my favorite, and a lot of One Piece fans' favorite arcs. NS Lobby is Robin's defining moment. After a lifetime of betrayal, she's ready to die rather than see the Straw Hats suffer because of her. And her heart wouldn't be able to take it if the Straw Hats betrayed her. But when Luffy orders Sogeking to burn the world government flag, declaring war on the world to save her, Robin, after Luffy says, "I want to hear you say it," finally says, "I want to live. Take me out to sea with you." That moment redefined One Piece. It wasn't, now it's a story about pirates and Marines and the world government. Oda was building up to that, and it was crazy. Robin's story is one of survival, betrayal, trust, and finally learning to rely on others wholeheartedly. And in Wano, she proves that she can be relied on in battle. Sanji needed her, and she came through on the 1-2 against Black Maria. But that speech, "I want to live," remains one of the most emotional scenes in all of anime and manga. I promise you. Talk to the haters. And that is my list. The top five female shonen characters. These women aren't just side characters, they're pillars of their stories. Proof that shonen hits harder when female characters are written with depth, growth, and impact. But I want to hear from you. Who's in your top five? Is it Hinata from Naruto? Or is it Nobara from Jujutsu Kaisen? Deserve a spot here. Or maybe an underrated pick like Biscuit from Hunter x Hunter. Drop your list in the comments. Let's put some respect on the queens of Shonen.